In 1956, Khrushchev of the USSR sent tanks into Hungary, into Budapest, that left the capital basically in rubble. Why did the uprising happen? What happened? And what were the consequences? Welcome to FreeTeacher. Why was there an uprising in Hungary in 1956? Well, as usual, it happened for a range of reasons. The reasons for the Hungarian Revolution, the Hungarian Uprising, can be summed up, as usual, by looking at the usual suspects: social, political, economic, and in this case, religious reasons. Okay, so politically, the Hungarians were tired of what they saw as repressive rule from Moscow. They were run by a local communist party under a dictator called Matyas Rákosi. He was a hardline communist and he ruled indirectly for the USSR. Now the problem was that the USSR was demanding reparations from Hungary for the damage that it had helped to inflict when it had invaded, with the Nazis, the USSR. So, just like the Allies were looking for reparations from Germany after World War I, the Soviets were looking for reparations from Hungary. Morning, Sna. So you had an unpopular political leadership, repressive. The AVH, the Hungarian secret police, were feared and hated, and this repressive regime, in paying reparations to the USSR, about 20% of Hungary's GDP, its economy, went to paying reparations to the Soviets. So this created economic problems, resentment, political resentment, and social problems caused by lack of money, caused by economic problems. So social problems, economic problems because of repayment, political unhappiness because of a repressive authoritarian government that was ruled by the Soviets. And then there was the fact that the Communist Party had banned religion. And the Hungarians, being patriotic and religious, were very, very resentful of this. The Hungarian Communist Party had imprisoned a key Hungarian religious leader called Cardinal Mindszenty. Wait there, let me just introduce you to Snowfie. This here is Snowfie. And if Snowfie represents, okay, the spirit of the Hungarian people, okay, on a chain. Now, Stalin would have been that chain. You've got all the enthusiasm, all the energy, all the desire for freedom, but Stalin is the chain. Then Stalin died. And Khrushchev, trying to be fair, trying to be more popular, trying to reverse some of Stalin's crimes as he saw it. Khrushchev made a speech condemning Stalin. And then this thing that was called de-Stalinization, in a sense, cut the chains. Cut the chains. It took the pressure off. And then all of this unhappiness, all of this resentment was allowed to bubble to the surface because Khrushchev had taken the chains off a little bit with de-Stalinization. And then this the Hungarian resentment and desire for freedom, like this, came bursting to the surface, didn't it, Snowfie? So, in a sense, de-Stalinisation was destabilisation, wasn't it, Snowfie? Huh? Come on then. Come on. You want to go on my lap? Come on then. Come on. All right. All right. All right. So, de-Stalinisation, the death of Stalin, it gave encouragement to a lot of freedom movements everywhere, a lot of nationalistic or national movements everywhere. And there'd just been an uprising, loads of protests in Poland. And the Polish had got concessions from Khrushchev because he didn't want to be as hardline as Stalin had been. The Poles had got concessions from their leader. They'd had this their own leader, a popular leader called Gomulka, put in charge, and obviously this gave encouragement to the Hungarians, who thought, well, if the Poles can get concessions, then so can we. So, factors that we have to look at. Poverty causes social problems, lack of bread queues, unemployment, hopelessness, joblessness, bad housing, etc. The Communist Party had taken a good proportion of the housing, they say, to give to the, from the locals, to give to the, you're biting my arm, Snowfie, right, you've served me well. Hungarian spirit, on the leash, and then let off the leash by the death of Stalin. Okay, I better go back and get my coffee. Snowfie, I've got to go, but thanks, you've been an absolute star. See you in a bit. Okay. Social problems caused by poverty. Poverty is pretty general. I mean, it was after World War II, but having to pay reparations to the USSR didn't really help. Politically, leadership from the Soviet Union, the repressive policies of Matthias Rakosi, and the repression of the AVH, censorship, control of education, so they had to learn Russian, everything was kind of communist education, and religion being banned, and Cardinal Mindszenty being put in prison. The Hungarians are patriotic and religious. Ladies and gentlemen, are you Hungarian?
Yeah!
Are you patriotic?
Yes, we are!
Are you religious?
Yeah!
Do you know that they've gone and banned the Catholic Church and imprisoned Cardinal Mindszenty?
No!
Why like this? Nobody likes poverty. They'd also, Hungarian parties such as the Smallholders Party had been banned, so there was a lack of political freedom. And this, like I said, was all boiling up, this was all churning up, waiting to go off. And then I guess the secret speech made by Khrushchev, where he denounced Stalin and his repressive policies, and started to release some political prisoners and allow a certain measure of freedom. Whoosh. That was the cork taken out of the champagne bottle. De-Stalinisation. It destabilised the situation. The Hungarian Revolution in 1956 really started off as a series of student protests that got more and more vociferous, more and more out of hand, if you like. And Nagy, spelled N-A-G-Y, became the leader of the protests, kind of swept along, if you like. It wasn't as though he organised them, he kind of, due to popular demand, assumed control, assumed leadership of the revolution, and it got more and more violent as the security services, the AVH, fired on protesters. So basically, Nagy became the de facto, the head of the revolution. He formed a government along with János Kadar. And they made the government, and Khrushchev agreed to talk about removing Soviet troops and tanks from Hungary. He was quite conciliatory, you could say, in his approach, until Nagy went too far, and there are different interpretations of this, but the accepted truth is that he wanted to leave the Warsaw Pact, and that this was the trigger for a change of mind by Khrushchev, who sent the tanks in to crush the rebellion. Kadar had quit the government in disgust when Nagy said that he was going to leave the Warsaw Pact, because he knew that that was a step too far. And yeah, there were 20,000 deaths on the Hungarian side. Lots of very bad image for the communists. A very great propaganda victory for the West. Stories of babies fighting tanks, children with guns, etc., etc., etc. But it was brutal, and even though some Russians did side at first with the protesters, in the end it was put down with brutality. There were many Hungarians that fled the country. There were purges afterwards, imprisonment. The West did nothing. Partly because it wasn't in a position to do anything geopolitically. What could it really do to help without risking a nuclear war? And its attention was more with the Suez Crisis, the British, French and Israeli plan to invade Egypt over the Suez Canal, and the American response, which was completely against this. So the West did nothing. Communism was pretty much discredited. A lot of Western communists in capitalist countries turned against the Communist Party because it had seemed like the USSR was acting as an empire, as a colonial force rather than a communist brother. And a communist government was installed back into Hungary. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Unprecedented anger from the Hungarians here on Kodak Beach. They're pretty angry, and I think the trigger, well, I'll go and find out. I think the trigger for them expressing their anger was de-Stalinisation. I'll just go and find out. Wait there. Sorry, one last question, Hungarians. Was the trigger for your protest de-Stalinisation?
Yes, this was, yes.
Yeah, I think that's fairly conclusive proof that de-Stalinisation was the trigger for the protest that was a result of political, economic, social factors that you need to be able to discuss. So, ladies and gentlemen, The Hungarian Revolution of 1956 finished off Kodak Beach, Cambodia. Thanks very much.